Hello students, this is Waqar Ahmed, your economics teacher from Cambridge International School, Dasua. And in today's class, we will continue chapter number 10, Government Budget and the Economy. As you are aware, we have already covered two lessons from this chapter in which we studied about government budget, objectives of government budget and revenue budget of the government budget. So, revenue budget consists of two main part. First is revenue receipt and second is revenue expenditure. The part highlighted from red on your screen. Revenue receipt refers to that receipt of the government which neither create any asset nor reduces any liability of the government. On the other hand, revenue expenditure is that expenditure of the government which neither creates any asset nor reduces any liability of the government, and this expenditure is generally incurred on the normal functioning of the government, the system of government, the structure of administration which runs a state, a country. The expenditure incurred on that is known as revenue expenditure. We have studied in detail about this revenue budget in last class. Now we will be moving on to the second part of government budget, which is capital budget. Capital budget consists of two parts, capital receipts and capital expenditure. Like yesterday we talked that revenue budget is that budget which generally belongs to the current state of the economy, current income, current expenditure. But government has got many other duties. Government's functioning is just one part of that. Government need to create assets, government need to create investment opportunities, and all that expenditure is a part of capital budget. Capital budget is considered to be productive, means capital budget promotes capital formation, and as we know more capital formation will create more job, more employment opportunity, more income for the people of the economy. So, it is considered to be kind of the productive part of the budget. Now, this capital budget has got two parts, capital receipts and capital expenditure. Capital receipt has got four parts and these are definite. Borrowing of the government, whatsoever borrowing is done by government, it can further be divided into different parts which we will talk about later, but generally whatsoever is being taken as loan by the government is capital receipt. Then small savings, whatsoever small saving is done by the general public of an economy in post offices, in buying national certificate of saving from the government, all that small saving is part of capital receipt of the government. Then disinvestment, we all know the meaning of disinvestment, and then recovery of loan. The loans earlier given by the government, that part which government recovers from the loan means the income of the government, that this income is classified into capital receipt. Then capital expenditure, major part is creation of assets, whatsoever is being created by the government for long term in an economy is capital expenditure. Then capital disbursement of loan given by government is part of capital expenditure, and third is investment in shares by government, that is also part of capital expenditure. So, let us talk about in detail. So, capital receipt or capital income of the government, it refers to that receipt of the government which either creates liability of repayment, means once taken government need to pay that amount back in future, it is creating a liability on the government, or reduces the assets of the government, or otherwise if liability is not being created, then government is getting this income by selling of its asset. Government has got many assets, means we can say kind of government has got so many assets in a country, like it owns PSUs, it owns railways, it owns different companies. So, all those assets are assets of the government. So, if government is selling of those assets, then the income will be classified as capital receipts. So, let me just make it concise, that income of the government which either create liability or reduces asset. is known as capital receipt of the government. Now, this capital receipt can further be divided into two parts. First comes from the first part, creates liability, means debt creating capital assets, and these are borrowings and small savings. And it is very clear, if government or let it be anyone borrows, then it creates a liability of repayment. So, if government is borrowing, then government to repay that amount, so it is liability of repayment. Then comes second part, which is small savings. These are two debt creating capital receipts. How is small saving a capital receipt? Because we as a public are saving our little amounts every month in post offices. Post offices are owned by government. So, whatsoever money we are depositing in a post office account is a liability of government. Whenever we will demand, government need to repay that amount to us, as is the case with NSC, National Savings Certificate. It is kind of a bond issued by government which doubles your money in 100 months. So, after 100 months you will go to post office, you will deposit your NSC or National Savings Certificate and you will get double the amount. So, till then it is the liability of government. Why? Because government has taken that money from us. So, these are two debt creating capital assets, borrowing and small savings. Now comes the second part, which is non debt creating capital receipts. First is disinvestment and second is recovery of loan. Disinvestment, we all know, means when government reduces its share partially or completely from public sector undertakings. Let us say Indian Railways, government has got, and let us talk about the current example, which is LIC. We all know that it is the biggest life insurance corporation of India, and government is planning to reduce its ownership from 100% to 90%. So, government is planning to sell 10% shares in LIC to private companies, and whatsoever income will government receive from this sale of share will be capital receipt. Why? Because government's share, government's assets will be reduced in LIC. So, reduction in assets, capital receipt. Second is recovery of loan. Let us say government gives 1000 crore rupees to government of Punjab. Then these 1000 crore is an asset for central government, but liability for Punjab government. After 1 year, Punjab government repays 100 crores out of this. So, now 100 crore will come back to central government. Earlier the assets of government were 1000 crore. Now 100 crore has come back. So, now assets are 900 crore. So, reduction in asset. Earlier assets were 1000 crore. After recovering 100 crore, assets has come down to 900 crore. So, assets has reduced and it qualifies as non-debt creating capital receipt. Now, the second part of capital budget, which is capital expenditure. It refers to that expenditure incurred by central government which either creates any asset, means by expenditure government is able to create something tangible, something for long term, then it is an asset and it is capital expenditure. So, either creates any asset or causes reduction in liability. Either government is creating something or government is reducing its liability. If any one of this is happening, then that expenditure incurred by central government will be counted as capital expenditure. And here I have listed major capital expenditures, or generally the most widely used capital expenditure types by government. Let us talk about them now. First is expenditure on acquisition of the assets like machines, building, land, etc. Why this is counted as capital expenditure? Because highlighted part, creation of asset. By purchasing something which is tangible, government is creating a asset. Second, investment in shares by government. we just talk about disinvestment, just the opposite of it, investment. If government is purchasing shares in its public sector undertakings or is making an investment somewhere else, then it is creating an asset for the government. Third is loans and advances by government to states, union territories, public sector undertakings and other parties. So, whatsoever loan and advances are being given by government, are being advanced by government. In the last example, as government gave 1000 crore to Punjab government as a loan, then it is creating an asset for central government. So, creation of an asset, capital expenditure. Fourth one, expenditure on construction of infrastructure like school, hospital, anything tangible, any asset being created by the government is creation of an asset, and expenditure on it is considered as capital expenditure. And last one, repayment of loan taken by government. If, for example, central government has borrowed $1 billion from World Bank, and after 10 years government is paying back that $1 billion, then repayment of loan is reducing the liability of the government. Earlier the $1 billion was liability of central government. After repaying, liability will be 0 or liability will reduce. So, it is counted as capital expenditure. So, let me just rewind. Capital expenditure, that expenditure of the government which either create assets or reduces liability of the government, and we have listed all the main types of capital expenditure. Now, after learning about the capital receipt and capital expenditure, you need to solve some practical problems based on the topics we covered today. And as like last lesson, you need to give reason. No reason, no mark. You need to tell that if an expenditure or receipt is of capital type, then what makes it capital receipt or what makes it capital expenditure. So, keep in mind, giving reason is absolutely necessary. Now, the solutions of the practical problems given in last class. I asked you 5 questions and you were required to categorize those receipts or expenditures into revenue receipt or revenue expenditure. So, first was corporation tax, and as we know all types of taxes are revenue receipts because tax neither create liability of repayment nor reduces the assets of the government. Then second was dividend received by government from ONGC. Similar, dividend does not create any liability nor reduces the asset of the government. And third one was rupees 100 crore received as grant by Punjab government from central government, and we know that all kind of grants are revenue expenditure. Then subsidies, same, subsidies are also revenue expenditure. And last one was payment of salary to government doctors during corona lockdown by central government. So, functioning of the government, payment of salary is part of functioning of the government. So, it is a revenue expenditure. And that is it for today, students. But before winding up, let us revise all the topics we studied today. First, we studied about capital receipt. It refers to that receipt of the government which either create liability or reduces assets of the government. It can further be divided into debt creating capital receipts like borrowings or small savings, and non-debt creating capital receipts like disinvestment or recovery of loan. Then we talked about capital expenditure. It refers to that expenditure of the government which either create asset or reduces liability of the government, and it consists generally of acquisition of assets by government, expenditure on infrastructure by government, then loans and advances given by government, then investment of government. all these expenditures of the government are counted in capital expenditure. In tomorrow's class, we will be talking about the budget deficit. What is deficit? Why deficit occurs? How many types of deficits? And what is their relevance with the economy of a country or of a economy? Till then, stay healthy, stay safe. Bye.